to you live from the sauna that is my bedroom, and I'm here to do another story time video. I have a Hall's cough drop in my mouth because my throat is irritated. This is gonna be the story of a fight after school at 3 o'clock. So I was in my early 20s. At that time, I worked in a bingo hall. So what happens? I'm at work that day, and we used to get out of work around, like, the game would be finished anywhere from like 2:15 to 2:30ish. I remember I'm at work and I got a phone call from one of my best friends, Chrissy. So the only person whose name is going to stay the same in this story is my friend Chrissy. Everyone else I'm going to give different names to. So one of my best friends, Chrissy, she calls me and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm at work." She was like, "Well, I'm on my way to pick you up with Betty." We'll call her Betty. She's like, "I'm with Betty and we're on our way to go pick you up from work." And I was like, I can't just leave early. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was going to be the last caller that day. I told her, I said, "What the fuck is going on?" So she's like, "Betty's daughter, Tracy, has beef and she's gonna go fight. And we gotta go with her to have her back." And I remember thinking, what? I'm like, what the fuck you mean? We have to go with her to have her back. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, a little bit of background. Betty was older than me and my friend Chrissy. But we were all friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would all hang out. She was like, I don't know, maybe in her late 30s, early 40s at the time. We all lived on the same block. Well, they all lived on the same block. They all lived here, and then I lived up the block and then around the corner. So we all lived like on the same block. So her daughter was a teenager in fucking junior high school. Her daughter, if I had to guess her age at the time, like 12, 13 years old. So she calls me to tell me,
"Tracy's gonna fight. She's gonna fight this bitch after school at 3 o'clock, and I'm coming to pick you up so that we can have her back."
And I'm just like, against teenagers? Like, I just remember thinking,
what the fuck?
And I'm like, all right, y'all could come pick me up, but you have to wait until I'm done working. I'm calling the numbers and I get the text, "We're outside." And I'm like, all right, I text back, whatever, fine, blah, blah, blah. So I leave my job. I see them in the car. I get into the vehicle. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, "Oh, Tracy got beef." Betty's telling me the story. She's like, there's this big bitch and she's been bullying Tracy and Tracy's fucking finally had it and she's gonna fuck her up after school today. So Tracy was in the school, but she called her mom to tell her mom what was happening and to tell her mom to meet her in the school at 3 o'clock and to bring Chrissy and me. She didn't want us there so much for us to like fuck shit up. It was more so just to have her back to make sure that she didn't get jumped. That was our purpose being there. I haven't thought about this story since it happened. And now that I'm thinking about it, we could have got into so much trouble because we were full-blown adults. These were kids, like, what the fuck? So we're driving and we end up at the school. We get to the school and there's already crowds of kids formed. Different little crowds of children that are gathered outside waiting for this fight because the news had spread throughout the whole school.
There's gonna be a fight at 3 o'clock. Tracy's fighting this big bitch, and it's happening at 3 o'clock after school.
So all the crowds were formed waiting for this fight to happen. And so we get there and we see Tracy. So she's with a couple of her friends. And we're like, "So where is this bitch that you're gonna fight?" And she's like, she's taking her sweet time to come outside because she knows she's scared. And Tracy was small. She was short. She was petite. And then this crowd comes out. I'm like, which one is it? We're like asking her which is the bitch. And we see the bitch. This girl that she was about to fight was taller than her. So, like, let's say this is Tracy's head here. This girl's head was like over here somewhere, up here. You see, you can't see my hand. That's where the girl's head was. And she was a lot wider. She was just a lot bigger than Tracy was, okay? Some would say that this wasn't a fair fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this was boxing, for example, it was like a lightweight against a heavyweight. Like, they were not in the same weight category at all. So when I saw this girl, I was like, oh boy. So the girl, you could see that when the girl, her opponent, saw my friend Chrissy, she saw me, and she saw Tracy's mom, Betty. When she saw us, I think that kind of threw her off. You could see the fear in her eyes. Whereas Tracy, she was like, she was like all like this and like hopping up around, and she was ready. It was fucking hilarious because she's so little, she was so young, and to see her getting ready, like moving her shoulder like the way that a boxer would prepare before a fight, jumping up and down. She's jumping up and down like a boxer. we're just there watching, and I'm just like, oh my god. The crowd is getting even fucking bigger and bigger at this point, and no one's even fought yet. So Tracy was like, come on, bitch, we about to get it popping, or whatever the fuck she said, and she starts walking into the street. So now we're in the street where cars pass, right? And the girl, the big bitch, her friends had to like encourage her to go into the street and start fighting, because you were the one running your mouth that you were gonna fuck up this little girl because she's so little and So this big bitch was talking a lot of shit, and Tracy was like, I'm saying though, if you want to fight, we could fight. So now it's time to fight. The big bitch was visibly, nervous and scared, but she ends up in the street. So they're fighting, right? I remember Tracy had one friend, this one girl that was her friend. She was there. For whatever reason, she stuck to me like glue. She didn't leave my side the entire time. So these girls are fighting, right? Tracy is fucking her up. She is getting each and every single hit in. She's swinging, overhead, straight forward, uppercut, all of them. Every hit is connecting hard. The girl is grabbing her hair, and she's got her hair, and Tracy's like, boom, boom. And the girl, all she did was grab Tracy's hair, and that was it. She didn't really get a good hit in at all, from what I remember. So they're fighting, right? And at one point I stop and I look around. I was surrounded by junior high school kids. I said, what the fuck? It was the whole school, it seemed. I was in the middle. All in front of me, all I saw was children. All this way, that way, behind me, children. It was like a sea of kids, and I couldn't believe it. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm in the middle of a full-blown after-school fight. So now the girl, her friend that was next to me, that stuck to my side like glue, she's next to me and she's grabbing onto me. And all I felt was that girl was shaking. She was so nervous and so scared. And I guess maybe she had never been in a situation like this before. See, I had been in a situation where a crowd formed while I was fighting, but it wasn't like this. This crowd was huge. You know what I'm saying? There had to be hundreds of kids there. And so this little girl was shaking like a fucking leaf. She was so fucking scared. I don't know if she was scared that she had to get in the fight, or that she would potentially have to fight, or if it was just a situation, or the kids, the fighting, the chaos. I don't know. So the girls are shouting, fuck her up, Tracy, fuck her up. The big bitch's friends, hit her, but swing, bitch, and all of this crazy shit. And then Betty, I believe it was Betty, separated them. I can't recall 100% who separated them, but I'm almost certain that it was Betty who separated them, right? So the fight stopped, and Tracy's talking her shit. That's right, bitch, I beat your ass, and now you're gonna stop running your fucking mouth, and right? Okay, fine. So now we're walking away. We grabbed Tracy, and we're walking out of the crowd. The fucking trembling friend came with us. And so we're walking away now towards the car, right? And so Tracy is with her friend, and I think a couple of other of her friends walked with us towards the car. We're walking towards the vehicle, and there was some bitches across the street. One of Tracy's friends tells us she tried to swing on you while y'all fighting. And Tracy looks at, it was fucking, this was a great moment. Tracy's like, what? Who? Her? And she just said, look, like, what? Who? Her? And the second she saw her and the friend gave her confirmation she was trying to swing while y'all were fighting, Tracy ran across the street, boom, 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 really fast. She hit her mad times, really hard, really fast. The girl did not get one fucking hit in, and then she walked back towards us. We didn't even have a chance to cross the street. You know what I'm saying? That's how fast the whole thing was. She was like, what? Who? Huh? And then she came right back to us. And we were just like, yo. And we were looking at her like, Tracy, get your little ass in this fucking car. So we get into the car. We get back to the block. Her father is outside. This was a really cute moment. So her father's outside. And because he already knew what was happening, but he's not. He's a man. So he's not going to fucking go to no after school fight. You know what I'm saying? He stood home waiting for the women to come back and tell him what happened. So we get back. We tell him, yo, your daughter beat the shit out of two bitches, one by one, back to back. It was fucking great. And he looks at her and he goes, you fucked them up? And she was like, yeah. And he grabbed her. He was like, I'm so proud of you, baby. And we were just like, aw, that's so sweet. With the way that my anxiety is now, I would no fucking way in hell be able to stand in the middle of a sea of screaming junior high school kids while two of them are fighting. And I can't deal with crowds and loud yelling, especially coming from teenagers, because most teenagers make me sick to my stomach. Oh my god, I can't stand them. They should all be banned. Ban all the teenagers until their frontal lobes are fully developed and they start acting right, caramba. So what's the moral of the story? Don't talk no shit, won't be no shit. Simple as that. Like, you know, just because a person is bigger than the next person doesn't mean that the bigger person is going to automatically fuck the little person up. You know what I'm saying? That's a common misconception that big people have. Whether it's big because you're tall, whether it's big because you're fuller. However it is that you're bigger than the other person, whether it be you're taller or you weigh more, you know what I'm saying? Or you've got more muscles that are visible. That don't mean jack shit. A person's size does not determine whether or not they're going to win a fight. A person's skills and their heart determines whether or not they're going to win a fight. So, if you're a big bitch out there running your fucking mouth towards a little bitch thinking that this bitch is little, she ain't gonna fuck me up. Listen, she very well might fuck you up. And so, I remember right before the fight started, the security guard was looking at us because Betty was telling the girl, you was running your mouth. You wanted to fight my daughter, right? Well, she's here. Come fight my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And the security was like...
Good God, these parents be worse than the children.
And I remember looking at her and thinking, listen, I'm nobody's parent here. I'm just here to watch the show. Because I damn sure I'm not getting involved in this bullshit. So that was that. But it was so fucking funny. Shout out to Tracy and Betty, wherever you guys are. Well, I know exactly where you guys are, but shout out to y'all. So if you like this video and you want to hear more story times like this, you already know what to do. Like my shit. Subscribe to my channel if you've not yet already. And if you do subscribe, make sure you turn on the notification bell so you could be alerted when I post videos in the future. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm hot and I can't say another word. Goodbye.